my job, everybody. Bjørn-Rune Nilsen, my buddy. He donated for me to review, to put track by track. And you know, my track by tracks are reviews. If you think about it, every time I put up a track by track, I'm doing 2 album reviews. Seriously. That's what I'm gonna about do now. 2 album reviews. Pink Floyd, Obscured by Clouds versus Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon. Now, Obscured by Clouds, I'm not that familiar with. I do have Dark Side of the Moon, and I love it. I used to not like it so much. I used to think it was overrated hype, and you know, since I like Animals and What You Were Hearing the Wall better, I kind of dismissed it for many years till I bought it on vinyl. I wanted to get, you know, I like getting new vinyl to old records because it was kind of beat up, my original. And man, playing that, I love it. I love it, with the exception of one song, which loses on here. And, oh, by the way, I talked about Dark Side of the Moon before. And I said in the video how I didn't like that song. And boy, there's a lot of you that like it. Awesome. All right, so here we go. Start with Obscured by Clouds, the title track, versus Speak to Me. I'm giving that to Obscured by Clouds. I liked it. Speak to Me is cool, but you know, it's kind of like an intro. All right, next. When You're In, it's a rockin' instrumental. I dig it. And that's going against Breathe in the Air. I got to give it a Pink Floyd on that one. Man, what a great, great song. Harmonies, beautiful. Beautiful. I'm giving that one to Pink Floyd. Next. Burning Bridges. It's total pre-Dark Side Pink Floyd. Great harmonies on that song. And that's going against On the Run. On the Run wins. Man, I remember when I was young, though, like in the 70s, I owned Dark Side of the Moon. And, yeah, on vinyl. That's why it was all beat up. I had it since the 70s. And I've had a lot of turntables through the years, and some were crappy that ruined my records. But anyway, my point is, On the Run, I used to listen to that in the headphones. This is before I smoked pot or anything. That was the drug. You know, you put on the headphones, listen On the Run. You know, I never tried drugs back then, so that was my first drug experience. Sonically, it gets you high. And it's in the 70s, especially the 70s, it sounded so futuristic. It's so ahead of its time. But listening to it today, I kind of feel like, nah, the time arrived. Doesn't make it worse, but I'm just saying, you know, there's more futuristic stuff than that now. You know, not that much more futuristic, but as time goes by, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I'm giving it to On the Run easily. All right, next. The gold is in the ... Good rockin' tune, liked it. And that's going against Time. Love that song, Time. And I always go back, man. You know, when you get my age, you know. By the way, a lot of people are talking about, oh, your couch is creaky. That's not my couch making that noise. That's my bones. That's how old I am, right? Stop making fun of my bones. But anyway, when you get my age, there's tons of people from your past. You don't know where they are. They disappeared. You don't know how to find them. I can think of several people that I went through hell trying to find, and I never found them, right? And one was a girl called Julie. Man, I had a crush on that girl. I loved that girl. I tried, but I never got with her, but we still were the best friends, because I'm the type of dude that if you reject me, I ain't going to stop being your friend. I was like, all right, bummer, you know? She was beautiful, right? So anyway, Years go by. Oh wait, to relate Julie with the song "Time" is that I remember it was my birthday, and we were hanging out, just me and her on the beach, and we were listening to "Time" on the radio, and she's like, "This is the best line." And the line of the song is, "I like to warm my bones beside the fire." And I always had that memory of Julie, of that, right? Okay. Fast forward about 10, 15 years later. I haven't seen Julie forever. I heard she's around. I heard bad things about her. I heard she was into coke and, you know, serious drugs, and she was hooking. I was hearing all this crazy story, right? And so one night, this was weird. One night I'm at a red light. By the way, I'm yapping. I hope you don't mind. A lot of people love when I yap. And this is a cool story. Well, it's not a cool story, but it's an interesting story. One night, it's like maybe 1, 2 in the morning. I'm at a red light, right? And, you know, my window's open, just, you know, waiting at the red light. And I get startled by a girl that comes up to my car. Sorry, you have any money? Can I borrow some money? And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she went, "Ralph!" And I was like, "Oh shit, it's Julie," but she didn't look good, man. I knew it was Julie. And she runs around, she gets in my car, right? So I'm driving, and I'm like, "Well, Julie, what do you need money for?" Because I knew she was in the boat. "Oh, I haven't eaten all day. I'm starving," and blah, blah, blah. All right. So I took her to a Circle K. And I said, "Get anything you want to eat." I guess maybe she was ashamed and embarrassed because it was an old friend that she agreed. I bought her some stuff to eat. She was hungry though, because I forgot what it was. I bought her something, and she kind of wolfed it down quick. And she was a very skinny girl. I mean, you know, cocaine addicted, right? So anyway, I get her the food, and then I tell her, "All right, where do I drop you off at?" So she took me to this fucking dingy. I mean, I lived around there, but it was kind of a dingy area. I lived about a mile north, which was nothing like that. So I take her there, right? I drop her off. She gets out of the car, and this fucked up looking drug head, all scabby and shit, all fucked up, walks up to me all fucked up. He's like, "Hey, be careful with that girl. She's bad news." That's my whole story, man. I know I went on too long on that. I hope you found it interesting. Well, anyway, this was 20 years ago, maybe? Nah, give or take. Maybe, yeah. Anyway, where is she now? You know, I never heard from her again. I never saw her again after that. And where is she now? I mean, chances are she died, you know? But I don't know. I hope by a miracle, that she straightened up and is, you know, a waitress or something, you know? I hope, you know? Anyway, okay, let's keep going. I know I'm going on too long on this. Where are we? Okay, yeah. I'm giving that to Time. Next, What's the Deal? I love this song. It's beautiful, melodic. And that's going against The Great Gig in the Sky. I hate this song. This is the one that people were like, "What are you talking about? I love this song." I know you love it. I don't. Oh my God, that woman, make her stop. Seriously, it's like listening to Sammy Hagar and Belcher. It's terrible. I'm giving that to Obscured by Clouds. All right, next, Mudmen versus Money. I gotta go with Money. Money, man, you know what I love about Money? Because I was listening to Dark Side not too long ago. How it's just a grooving track. Dun, 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 dun. So catchy, but then it goes into that that solo part just totally changes the tempo of the song, but it fits so well. And it goes back to genius. It wins. Next, Childhood End, versus Us and Them. I gotta say, this was close actually. I love Us and Them, but man, Childhood End was really good. But I'm still going with Us and Them. I guess because I'm used to it more. Maybe in the future I'd think different. All right, next, Free For. This is a hokey song, and that's going against Any Color You Like. Killer, grooving instrumental. Total win for Dark Side. All right, next, Stay versus Brain Damage. Brain Damage, man. Best damn song on the album. The lunatic is in the hall. I love that shit. You know, I'm going to yap again, but this one has to do with Pink Floyd. I did the Wizard of Oz Dark Side of the Moon thing, and as I remember, because it's been many, many years, there was only 2 parts of the album that matched the movie. One was, it's a black and white movie, but when it turned color, it had Money Start. Right when Money starts, the movie turns color. And then this song, Brain Damage, where it says, the lunatic is on the grass. The scarecrow is rolling in the grass. 2 parts. That's all I noticed. All right. Yeah, I'm going with Us and Brain Damage. All right, then we end it with Absolutely Curtains. I didn't like it. And going against Eclipse. Epic ending to a Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon deserves all the accolades it gets. I know it's spent decades on the chart. It's just a shit. So there you go, Bjorn. Wait! I gotta pick an album, man. I keep forgetting to do that in the halfway mark. So, let's go right here. The first Rush album. I took this out of the box set. This is 200-gram LP. It sounds awesome, man. I love this album, man. I think this album gets kind of like not talked about much because it doesn't feature Neil Peart. But John Rutsey rules. This album rules. My favorite is Working Man, but Before and After, What You Doing, Finding My Way, Here Again. I love the first Rush album. And that's it. that's my track by track. And this is the final score. And there you go. Dark Side won by a lot. I figured. But anyway, what do you all think? Leave it in the comments below. And thank you so much, Bjorn. You rock. And everybody out there. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring that little notification bell. And like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gob.